if you're going to be in government, and I've said this numerous fucking times, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. If you're going to be in government, you should be forced to buy an index fund, right? An index fund. Maybe a target date fund, right? Because then as you get closer to retirement and as years go by, your portfolio will rebalance and you'll have more bonds, you'll still have some equities, but you should only be able to have like a passive investment in the stock market. Whether that be in equities or bonds or any sort of municipally issued or treasury issued security, right? So, that's kind of how I lean with stuff like that. I think that in government, you also shouldn't get a salary. And I don't believe in pensions for government. So I'll just briefly lay out my overlay of what I would do. Just imagine we live in a world where Stonkman is like the absolute ruler, whatever. I would be more of like a benevolent dictator, I like to think, but who knows, right? Absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? As they say. So in my world, I would have a situation where you have people who go into government, they go into Congress, right? Mandatory one term limits, okay? Because when you look at the sheer number of people in just Congress alone, I'm not talking about justices in the Supreme Court. I'm not talking about in federal courts. I'm not talking about in the appellate courts or anything like that. I'm talking about in Congress, okay? I'm talking about senators and I'm talking about people in the House of Representatives, okay? Now, every state has 2 senators, and then the representatives, I think the number is like 450 something. It's like close to 500 people. But that's disproportionate among state to state because it's like every X amount of people equals one rep, right? That's how it works. So, you're talking about 100 people in the Senate. That's easy. We have a population of 330 million people. Okay, we got some old fuckers. We got some young fuckers, okay? What about people from the age of 25 to 60 or from 25 to 55? What percentage of the population is that? Those are people, and now let's whittle it down a little. People who haven't been convicted of hate crimes, people who haven't been convicted of violent crimes, people who aren't felons, people who haven't like blatantly broken the law or been in legal trouble, right? You get a smaller number. But the fact of the matter is the population will continue to grow, and 100 people, you'll very readily and easily replace those people after one term. So that's the first thing. Mandatory one-term limits for both the House of Representatives and the Senate. Very simple. You're talking about less than 1,000 people going into Congress every year. They, go in there, they do 2 years or whatever, maybe 4 years, some shit like that, and then they come out, right? And really, when you think of politics, it should be like a civil service job, right? It should be like a teacher or, a fireman or a policeman or a nurse, right? You should be kind of serving the general public. That's what politics should be. So that's number one. Like I said, mandatory one-term limits. Pretty simple. Now, get rid of pensions. You know why? Because you're doing one term. You don't need a fucking pension. It's dumb. It's a fucking waste of money. It's a total fucking scam. Get rid of that fucking bullshit. Okay? That shit's gone. Gone. Done. Get the fuck out. It's out. Perfect. Very simple. That's number two. Number three is that you don't get a salary. You get a stipend, okay? Some of you guys have been to college. Maybe you know people or you have friends who were student athletes. Student athletes get a stipend, okay? They might get, X amount of money a week, Y amount of money a month, or for a semester, right? And what happens there is that money is earmarked. It has to go towards certain things. So now let's say in the case of serving in Congress, you're based in Washington, right? Okay. So what you do is you look at what is the median income for someone in Washington, D.C. And you don't look at averages. You know why? Averages are skewed by the top earners and it doesn't weight everything correctly. So when you look at an average, if you have a guy making $1 million a year and then you have a guy making $0 a year, and you average those out, you go, oh, well, the average is 500,000. Yeah, but what's the median, right? What are most people doing? How are most people getting by? And that's what you got to do. Median. The median is the true average in situations like this. If you look at the average American net worth, it's skewed by the people who have a gazillion dollars, and it's also affected by the people who have fucking $0. So no, it's not representative of the entire population, because if it was, you would have a number that falls much closer towards the middle. That's what matters. Average versus median. That's another important conversation that people need to have.